You always say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Especially with Lamont. So there was no need to go anywhere else. Are you constantly just surprised at his discipline, especially being from this area, what's going around this area, and being that what the stakes at this fight is?
Yes and no. Of course, Lamont lived in the belly of the beast, and on average, a lot of time when people come from the beginnings that he came from and his brother and some of these other kids, keep in mind where we standing at now, just a beautiful gym, but it wasn't always like that, number one. Number two, right. One of the shelter, which is right through those woods down there, we got a lot of kids out of those shelters.
Right by the hospital.
Right by the hospital. It was a lot of them. And some of those kids are here to this day. Some of them have become, we got a couple of lawyers, we got a doctor.
Professional athletes.
Yeah, professional athletes of sport. Joshua, that used to play with the Redskins, used to come in there when he was a kid, lift weights, whole nine. So, through all of that, we got a lot of good people. In Lamont's case and his brother, they was raised a certain way. There was no get down and feel sorry for myself because of what I went through. If you don't like where you at in life, which is what they were taught, get up and make change. And that's what he does. So much so, sometimes that same teaching, now I need it as a student, and I get it from him.
Yeah. There's been some comparisons for you and Angel Garcia as far as your street smarts, your background, and everything. Do you see those comparisons?
Angel's a good dude. We got a little background. Now, I won't say I'll let Angel tell it, if told at all. Danny, when you look at Danny Garcia, I heard his critics the whole night. And, Danny, just like Lamont, a lot of times some of them fights that he went into, of course, the odds was against him, and he beat the odds. Nobody really, on the average, they didn't think Danny was going to make it this far. They talked about his feet and, his defense or lack thereof, the whole
layoff and all that.
Layoff and all that. But he would always come through, he would always beat the odds. I know because I cheered for him many a day. So I had a chance to see him in the amateurs. And like I said, that's a whole nother story. But in the case of Lamont, like I said, you have some similarities in him and Danny as far as them beating the odds. Lamont beat the odds also. Angel, he stuck by his son. Do all the garbage, the thick and thin. He ride and die with him. I ride and die with mine. He's not afraid. I've never been afraid. Not in our DNA to do so. He's fiery. I'm on fire, especially in that corner. And he believes in his son. I believe in Lamont. Now, where we separate, he can be over the top sometimes.
He can.
You know what I mean? Everybody know that. But that's him. You know what I mean? If that's what get him going, then more power to him. Me, I'm just the opposite. Boxing is what I do, is not who I am. It's my job. In that ring, I'm gonna be a wolf. And I want other wolves with me. After it's over with, it was love before, it's gonna be love after. When it's work, it's wolf.
Anytime in this camp, did you see Lamont pick up more intensity in the training? Did you see a little bit more hunger and desire in his eyes based on what's at stake with this fight? And at times, did you have to pull him back?
I think he understands, what this fight means and what it can mean, not just for him, myself, this gym, but for boxing as a whole. I've always had to pull him back. Lamont is that athlete that always try to go beyond the norm. So much so sometimes you gotta save him from himself. Michael Jordan was that way. Young Ali was that way. You go on down the line, special athletes need more. If not, they'll get bored. It's almost equivalent to a kid that's failing in junior high or elementary school.
Right.
Don't nobody know what's wrong with him. But as soon as you step him up, put him in a high school class or college, he excels. That's the genius, trying to get up.
So what do you let him do? Because there's been stories of him just completely exerting himself to the point where he's on the floor, might get to the point where he's close to throwing up. So if he comes in like 2 hours later, what do you do with him at that point?
Oh, after a while, we sit down, we talk, and we had these debates all the time.
Right. Because he's snappy.
He'll turn around and he'll do, and the workouts be hard as it is. And then he want to do some extra here and go there. And the most important part of what we do, not opposite training, is rest. You got to, because you tear the body down. Your body has to have a chance to repair itself, and that's when muscles are built. And so, we still go through that every once in a while. But for the most part, he is a coach's dream. He that type of athlete that you love to have.